The 1.0.6 update is now out for Assassin's Creed Shadows, and it features a brand new questline with a new ally for your Shinobi League named Rufino. Rufino is the first ally to be added to AC Shadows after previously appearing in the AC Shadows one-shot collaboration with the Critical Role YouTube channel. This questline with Rufino will take you about an hour to complete and follows a quite familiar structure. However, there are several factors that not only showcase AC Shadows' commitment to a stronger long-term narrative arc for the post-launch of the game, but also a drastic step up in writing, characterization, and performances. I don't know how much of this is down to Robbie Daymond himself, as I would hope he had some input into the story and characterization of this character which he created. I honestly hope so, because it would explain the storyline we have here, which is of such narrative quality. We absolutely know that he is voicing the character, and it shows from his years of experience voicing characters on Critical Role.
In Portugal. Brought to these islands on the winds of greed, and then abandoned on the streets. I was just a child. But eventually I found a friend. An amigo. Together we made this place our home.
His performance to start with is incredibly strong, conveying confusion and yet optimism and naivety that this character needs to have to convince you of his arc in the story. Passion without being goofy. It's strong enthusiasm for the role that shines across in this bundle of energy shown in his performance. There are dramatic moments for the character that he also sells very well, but I feel like at any moment he could throw in an exaggerated "It's a me, Mario!" from AC2, and it wouldn't feel out of place. Suffice it to say, this is one of the best performances in the game, and with only 4 cutscenes, that is incredibly impressive, and I want to see more of this character immediately. The actual storyline itself is one that also impressed me. I was worried that the quest would be very simple. Meet the character, kill people, get thanked for it, and that's the end. But it's not that at all. Yes, it is bogged down by Shadows' need to make every villain in the game have 7 underlings in a circle that you have to fast travel around the map to kill off, but there are a few added steps that make this setup better within the narrative. Firstly, after Rufino is introduced and we get caught up to speed on who he is, seemingly sometime after the one-shot, we understand he is friends with Tomoko, who is the reason he has came here to ask for help, and also that he is an ex-Templar.
Forgive me, but how could you bring yourself to work with the Portuguese again, after they left you here as a child?
The personal discomfort was a small price to pay in order to build relationships.
We have a mission working with Rufino to hijack a ship and find a letter discerning the locations of our targets, so it isn't something we get straight away, but something we have to find, and that extra step gives us time to work with Rufino and get a look at his skills in action, with a pistol, and also his ability to get caught quite easily and need our help, giving him more 3-dimensional traits. Then we get the generic wheel of Templar agents to take out, targeting prominent but small and innocent people within villages and farms. People that should be left alone, but these Templars can't help themselves, they have to push things a little too far. It's only after you mindlessly kill all of these targets that the game pulls a twist I was not expecting from Shadows. It challenges you on what you just did. Rufino is still at heart a man with a deep connection to these Templars, and he's essentially betrayed them for the greater good, but still is sentencing his friends to death. He can't come to terms with that, even if he's doing it indirectly, and so blames Naoe and Yasuke for being so bloodthirsty. In this interaction, you have to fight your corner and explain as either Naoe or Yasuke why we killed these people without remorse. It's only the second time in the game that it's ever brought up question of morality of what you're doing, and here it's handled even better than in the main game.
Just because you didn't draw the blade doesn't make your hands any cleaner.
I asked for your help to protect the innocent.
And that's what we're doing. The world is not black and white. Sometimes doing the right thing is messy.
I chose to answer this as Naoe, as I felt her motivation in the main game was the weakest in the story, and was curious as to what she'd say, and she answered with something very cold-blooded, that made me think about her character differently. It's like the writers leaned into this idea of the cold nature of her character and the performance not resonating so much with fans, well that's putting it generously, that they purposefully made her angry and distant. It is Yasuke who tries to be friendly with Rufino and relate to him, also being an outsider that's had to adapt to the Japanese culture. He has a nice moment early on where he sits with him and talks at his level about adapting to his surroundings, almost like it was a necessity and not a choice, in order to feel a sense of belonging. Please note Naoya's position in this scene. She's not sitting in the circle with the others, she's out of the way and in the background, but not wishing to be any kind of anchor or friend to Rufino. Maybe she wants to give Yasuke his moment to connect with another outsider. Maybe she doesn't trust him and has developed a lot of issues with trust throughout her time in the story after the many betrayals she's experienced. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, by the way, quite the opposite. I want this to be a part of her character, a detachment from her friends as she follows the path of the assassin further and further. This seems genuinely baked into the direction of this expansion. With her dialogue and placements, I don't think that's a stretch to assume. Rufino being a Templar that is now forced to kill his friends but doesn't have the stones to get in there and do it himself says a lot about this passive character, not taking matters into his own hands but running away from the Templars and looking for our help. He could use a pistol as a way of representing how he doesn't want to get his hands dirty. I joked in my video when this character was revealed that he looked like a Templar, and I can't believe I was right, and it was intentional to his design. What a zinger! As we move on to the last target, our relationship with Rufino is waning as he starts to doubt the mission and may even slip back into his old ways. If we didn't know he was going to be an ally by the end due to the marketing, I think his fate could have gone either way in my head at this point. Is he going to become a Templar again just to bring back that sense of belonging, or is he going to stick it out and find a new family with the assassins? It looks like it may be the former, as he lies to Naoya and Yasuke about the location of the second to last target, and warns him ahead of time, putting us on the back foot going into the final encounter. I thought it was cool that we see Rufino talking to the Templar in the open world before confronting them, and he has the target over his head, almost like Rufino will be the main target to kill, and I was thinking in my head that Rufino would turn out to be this final target, considering their identity was still shrouded in mystery. Maybe acting soft to get his competition took off the board, and that the marketing had been secretly tricking us this whole time. My mind was racing here. It turns out Rufino just wanted to spare one of his friends, just one to atone for his guilt, but it's too late as we get introduced to the real final target with the Architect. Kitted out in gold and black Templar themed armour with the cross on full display, which looked fantastic. This guy doesn't have much interesting dialogue but makes a good impact by killing Rufino's friend right in front of him the second he's introduced. And we even get a bit of action with Naoya using a smoke bomb. God, I miss the days where Assassin's Creed cutscenes had action in them, aside from that one that we got in Shadows. Once this boss fight is concluded, which is a relatively easy fight if you're a high level, we get something that made my jaw drop. Let's face it, this is the closest thing to a memory corridor we're going to get in this entire game. A letter telling of the failures of Duarte and Nuno Caro. Yes, this isn't just another Templar, this guy is connected to the events of the main game and was sent to check if Nuno Caro had fucked up. Which of course, he had. This does give Nuno Caro more aura in death, as now the Templars have discovered what happened in Japan and the catalyst for a war has been struck, just as he predicted. The letter ends by suggesting that the Black Cross are on their way. Considering it's usually a Red Cross, I'm expecting some kind of Black Ops team of Templars to be coming after us very soon. Is this set up for the Claws of Awaji, or perhaps something that will carry us across the rest of this game's post-launch content? That is yet to be seen. However, it does paint the main story in a better light, knowing that the story acts as a starting point, a catalyst, and the fallout of those actions will be addressed and explored. As someone who enjoyed the Templar storyline substantially in Shadows, I find every development to this side of the story to be very compelling, and I just hope the assassin side will get similar treatment in the future. With this set piece out of the way, Rufino reflects on how he now has nobody left, but was unable to prevent more death. But now, the innocents are saved as Naue assured him, and he joins our league on a bittersweet note, feeling like an outsider once again. Just recording this part in post, I only just noticed in the dialogue that he just said all of his friends are dead. All of the characters from the Critical Role crossover are name dropped here as being dead. Which, I mean, that feels like a bit of a missed opportunity. We could have seen them appear in future collaborations, especially if the writing of this one is as good as it was. I want to see the other guys show up, but no, apparently we had to canonically kill them off. So, I don't know, that seems like a bit of a missed opportunity, but hey-ho. What made this questline hit home was how well it was written. There are themes here, motivations, twists in the story that pay off well, and a good structure and length to feel substantial enough as meaningful content, and explore new and interesting characters. Also, more definitive characterization for Naue and Yasuke, along with calling out some of their flaws. A Templar, learning how the Creed operates, even in a small capacity. Rufino learned that his friends were going too far and doing the unthinkable to stop them, but knowing he had to because of the harm they were causing, and Naue and Yasuke not seeing the humanity in that and acting desensitized to it after all this time, and needing correction on the importance of taking a life.
We'll show them that these strays have claws.
I can't help but feel like this is what Assassin's Creed Rogue's story should have centred on. The moral complexity between having to betray your longtime friends because they'd gone too far. I feel like they tried to do this with Shay, but it just didn't happen because Shay never trusted these people to begin with. It was only Liam that he had a genuine deep connection with and hadn't spent enough time with the assassins to truly love them as a family. It also doesn't help that the writing in that game made the assassin and Templar conflict incredibly black and white, but flipped to make the Templars inherently good and the assassins the epitome of evil. Thankfully, Shadows doesn't go in this direction. It doesn't try and redeem the Templars, it doesn't try and make them good or nice characters and make Naue and Yasuke the bad guys. It simply acknowledges that to have this conflict, both sides are going to step into the moral grey zone, and I really appreciated that maturity in the writing. I had no expectations for this storyline, but if this is what the post-launch of Shadows is looking like, we could be in for a great post-launch ahead, if we even get 2 or 3 more story drops with quality on par with this one. Rufino is a character I want to see again, something I did not expect to be saying before this update came out. His performance got me, and his writing enticed me. It's proof that Shadows has the potential to deliver, and whatever story content is next, has a very high bar to reach.